Oh god, here we go again! Okay, so yeah, you notice how I can't, like, go to the other side of the map doing that. Alright, so I'm testing my theory now. Nope, that was some kind of bug. Because I had, like, caps lock on, I thought that might have been what did it. No, that was just a bug. It fucked up a bit. Oh, thank God. I'm still gonna have to do a full ramble set because these guys just disappear very quickly.
Glad you came.
There's all the upgrades. Why am I... Oh, stock. Well, we did run short on that recently. We might as well grab it. Even though I have enough builders on my team that shouldn't be an issue. Jesus, I'm greased lightning. But I'd probably die in one grenade from one of the big fuckers. So it's not really useful outside of this. Unfortunately.
Glad you came. Help me to get out of here.
Like, where are these people coming from? We locked these places down, and then...
Good to see you.
I don't understand what... Because, like, we've been over here repeatedly. What, were they in a hole, and now they're just coming out of the woodworks because it's secure? Are they wandering into the city from parts unknown? Is Rick Grimes gonna show up? Start talking about how Shane was banging his wife? God, if anybody bitches about me spoiling The Walking Dead, that was like a decade ago! You lose your spoiler alert privileges. Besides, they revealed that in, like, episode 4. That's not even a secret!
Get out of here.
Team.
Help me to get out of here.
Okay, I might slow down on the soldier recruitment. At least, like, 2 of the team, because I don't think we're actually going to need that many of them now. You can go straight to the shelters.
I have something for you.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, God, that reminds me! Oh, infection rates and zombie lore. Because that's always that's a fun thing for me. So, literarily, plot-wise, a lot of zombie fiction embraces this notion of the 100% success of infection rate. I understand that that makes the disease, you know, very dangerous and so forth. However, it kind of deprives you a bit of dramatic freedom. Well, how are there more caches? Did I not search all of this? So yeah, a lot of zombie fiction, it's like, oh, he's bitten, he's going to turn. Like it's a certainty. Here's 2 problems I find with that. First of all, if you're going the actual infectious disease route, the work of zombie fiction, as opposed to necromancy or, I don't know, take your pick, magic, vampires, demon possession, whatever. If you're going the infectious disease route, one of the problems that you're presented with is the fact that how are these survivors, who are often running around with, like, sledgehammers and baseball bats, splattering zombie brains right into their faces without protective equipment, not getting infected with the disease? That makes no fucking sense. And it's never addressed. It's never addressed in zombie fiction. Like, bro, you've got, like, zombie shit on your face, right? Ah, there we go. We now have a improved zone. Oh my god, they look so funny when they're trying to sprint. Because they're allowed to do that. That is Stubbs the Zombie levels of, like, goofy zombie bullshit right there. I appreciate that. Now, of course, people would make the argument that, like, well, you can't exactly expect all the survivors to have access to or even know to wear, like, facial protection. I mean, and it goes even beyond that. I mean, these zombies are probably, like, rotting and oozing shit everywhere they go, and yet you've got survivors who are in kind of a destroyed world with debris and nails and all kinds of other shit lying around. I mean, with the scope of these epidemics that is oftenly depicted, it would be impossible for them not to be exposed. Unless they were extremely cautious, and yet 100% infection rate. It doesn't make any sense. So dramatically, you can leave yourself kind of some interesting territory where you make it so that zombie bites are not universally fatal. And I don't mean like, oh, 1 in a million is immune to the disease. No, I mean, let's say 1 in 10. Or we could even give it some more flexibility. We could say that there are treatment options that improve possible prognosis. Or potential sleeper infections that could activate at a later time without warning. And this creates all kinds of interesting, like, dramatic territory to enter, because you have to consider that, oh, Stacy has been bitten by a zombie. Now, in most zombie works, it's like, well, put her out of her misery, put her down, because she's gonna turn. You know, we treat this with absolute certainty, because in most universes, that's exactly what happens. I didn't need that one anyway. But if you introduce this notion that, like, 1 in 10 could survive, now there's a moral dilemma. Because you could put Stacy down for the safety of the safety of the rest of the group, but doing so means that you might have been putting down somebody who would have been fine, who could have continued to contribute to the group. And it creates this gray area of, should we keep them alive? Should we not keep them alive? And different factions' opinions on how that should be done can create a source of tension between the factions. And often, particularly in the dramatic sense, the more entertaining part about a work of zombie fiction is how the humans, after this pseudo-apocalypse, get along when everything is said and done. Because you could have this sort of super paranoid group of, oh, you know, if anybody's bitten, we just kill them. We can't risk it. Even if they act normal, maybe they're asymptomatic. And that's another thing you could introduce. People that could spread the disease, yet not display characteristic zombie symptoms. I mean, some dimension to the zombie infection that can create all kinds of interesting ways to go. It also provides a convenient way out where it's like the disease is not infectious enough, shall we say, that if exposed through the usual vectors in a zombie apocalypse, like, oh shit, I cut my arm on a nail a ways back, and I fell into this puddle that's probably had some zombie taking a piss in it. That's not gonna kill you. You're infected, you're exposed, but it's not enough to do the job. It actually creates a useful workaround for that problem of, how have all these people not been exposed to the zombie virus already, and how are they not all just dead? Because for all intents and purposes, they should be.
Glad you came.
I mean, that was one of the beauties of, World War Z. Like, not the film, though. The book, like the Zombie Survival Guide or whatever it was, where it highlights the fact that the whole point of the story is that, oh god, because it's kind of a product of its time. They were referencing the U.S. military as having sort of Vietnam-era sensibilities, a bunch of conscripts who were just told to fire in the general direction of the enemy and defeat them through attrition, which, to win by attrition, is to overwhelm the enemy's will or desire to fight, to remove that will or desire to fight. The problem is, zombies don't give a fuck because they're zombies. Why would they? And so they had to change their tactics. Ooh. Who are you? Because that's by far, like, the Achilles heel of any work of zombie fiction, is the fact that it's very easy for it to become bland. Because it's a zombie. You know, one is just like the others. And it's why in gaming, especially, you need variation in your zombies. You know, maybe zombies were people who were wearing body armor back when they were human, and now that affects them defensively in the present time. I do question the idea of zombies with guns, though. If they're that... If they're...
Tell me to get out of here.
I find that dubious, the fact that a zombie would be smart enough to use a gun. Now, the notion explored here of, say, like mutant zombies or whatever. Fuck. I swear I didn't even see him as a green blip on my thing. Doesn't matter, we're not actually hurting for soldiers right now. In fact, it's pretty much everything else we're hurting for, despite the fact that most of the things we built already required soldiers. However, the game gives you plenty of them. Perhaps on the anticipation of how much you would need them. But it's guys like engineers and rangers and captains that we need right now. And don't mind this zombie following me. We Shaun of the Dead at that shit.
Glad you came. Tell me to get out of here.
I think that's all we can scavenge from here. We've actually been surprisingly lucky with engineers in these recent areas. One issue is that curing zombieism is a thing that you could do, and it would make sense. No, wait, fuck. No, a vaccination for zombieism is something you could do, and it would make sense. A cure for zombieism doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because unless it kills the zombies, like they die, how would that work? The whole notion is that you can, like, blow an arm off, or tear their heart out, and they'll just keep coming. What happens when they turn human again?
Tell me to get out.
Maybe that's how you end up with mutants. Oh, who? Oh no, that's our guy. I think, moaning.
Glad you came.
And another engineer.
Tell me to get out of here.
Now, I don't know if this is the third ramble or the fourth ramble. All I know is it's too much.
Good to see you.
And like each zone I ramble in takes another day. Like I said, Sarge is going to be in this place for a fucking year at this rate.
Tell me to get out of here.
Starting to feel like I've been here for a year. You figure with more help, Sarge would have an easier time of getting it done. It wouldn't be more difficult. That doesn't make any sense.
Glad you came.
You can go to the camp. I think we got enough builders. I want to throw some specialized defenses on some of our existing towers and so forth. We'll need builders for that, but outside of that...
Help me to get out of here. Help me to get out of here.
Raining engineers, apparently.
Glad you came.
Yeah, they heard I was bringing back dirigibles, and they all were just like, sign me the fuck up! God, what's the importance of auto-gyros in a zombie apocalypse? Have you not seen The Road Warrior? I mean, there was the gyro captain doing, like, airstrikes of a sort, so to speak. Airstrikes on the villains by dropping petrol bombs out of his ultralight auto-gyro. I mean, after the apocalypse, you know what you're really gonna need? Engineers. Guys who know how to make shit work. Because otherwise, no electricity, no water. If you are trying to rebuild a civilization, it's going to be a very short and ill-conceived attempt. You need the brainy people. Because pretty soon everybody will have to adapt to being able to, like, fight, to survive, and hunt. You're gonna see a lot of, like, bushcraft skills become very important. The survivalists will be thrilled. But getting more complex structures functioning, you're gonna need, you know, guys with brains and spanners.
Help me to get out of here. Hey there.
I mean, it even occurred to me, like, where's the best place to be
Glad you
after
came.
the zombie apocalypse? In a dirigible. I mean, barring other human antagonists who could very easily turn your safe haven into a flying death trap, what are zombies going to do if you're in a dirigible? You're not dependent upon fuel, so you can float indefinitely. It doesn't matter how many of them there are bashing at your door, because your door's a mile in the air. I mean, you could hide in the sky, and then all you need to get back to the ground is like a winch. This big elevator. Drop down a search party, they get supplies, they come back up, and in a pinch, you could just eject the whole winch mechanism if zombies had overwhelmed, you know, the elevator. Poor bastards down at the bottom are gone, but the people living in the blimp are fine. Even snake down like a big tube into an ocean or something, get water, desalinate it. Got a nuclear dirigible. Well, that might be inviting more problems. It's not bad enough you're living in a flying petrol bomb. Now you got a nuke in it. Actually, an RTG, though, could probably fix that problem. You see, wouldn't you want me working for you in the zombie apocalypse? Figuring shit out? Part of the reason people put up with, what is it, Eugene in The Walking Dead? Yeah, sure, he's a coward that's hopeless in a fight, but he gets all the stuff working.
Hey there.
Figured out how to reload ammunition. Kept the solar panels running, fixed Alexandria. There's a reason he can get away with being the kind of useless, you know, guy he is because he's anything but useless. He's just not good in a fight. I'd be even better, because not only would I have the brains, I'd also have the brawn to kick some zombie ass. And in the most creative fashion possibly. I'd be like really laying the traps. Humans, zombies, nothing's getting through my defenses. Nothing. But no, how do we get, like, a continuous source of, say, electrical power in a dirigible? Could, like, solar panel that shit, that's fine. Could even wind power, get, like, turbines on the ends of the dirigible. There's all kinds of environmentally friendly ways you could do that. Obviously, this isn't what comes to mind for me first. I don't know, perhaps I like to live dangerously.